In this one, we're gifted stale brown bread. We go and find a copper mine, and we fail to find a decent pint in Waterford and Cork. So this trip is our Christmas trip. And we travelled all the way from Waterford, to Waterford, all the way down to Cork. And we went all the way down to Mizenhead. So here's a few clips of what we did on the way and where we went. We did stumble upon some cool little walks, and
what's going on with my hair?
Then a copper mine. So this was actually pretty cool, and I love finding all these old buildings and stuff. And this was a cool one because you could climb in around it and get a good look at it. But yeah, here's basically the engine house. So this was a chimney, and you were able to climb into it. So of course I did. But here is like the engine house for the pump house for pumping the water out of the copper mine. This was built in the 1850s. It closed in the late 1890s or something like that. But this was really cool because it shows you here how they pump the water out in the system. And it was an old steam engine that was fitted in it. And it pumped the water out of the mine. And it's amazing how the engine was actually a stone building in a way. The way everything was supported and built. Really interesting place to have a look around. And it's fairly intact. It would be cool to climb in a little bit further and actually see where the mine shaft is, that little bit deep down. I wonder how far they dug in. But after that, anyway, we ended up in a place called Ardmore that had like the best fish and chips. The chips were amazing. We stumbled upon what you need, the essentials, that being a toilet when you are living out of a van. So between that and a shower, you can't go wrong once you have them too. After that, we went into the pub in Ardmore. I got myself an Irish coffee and a few other bits. Well, a few other pints, I should say. And this is where we stumbled upon the brown bread. There was nowhere to order chips, and there was a fancy-ish restaurant. They sold us a couple of bags of chips and gifted me some brown bread. So we went back to the van, went to the beach as well, drank some Baileys and watched Netflix, eating our bags of chips and our brown bread. Next morning then was a little bit... and that day then we ended up in Rosscarbery by the end of it, and that was found a lovely little pub, the best Chinese I've ever eaten, to be quite honest, and another shit pint of Guinness. Ended up on the course, and after that then, waking up, we found a place to have a shower, which is Cape Clear, where the ferry is for Cape Clear. It was grand. After that we went to Mizenhead. We ended up having a look around here for a while, which was actually very cool. I really enjoyed this walk because it's just, have a look. This is fucking class, to be honest. It was quite an enjoyable trek. Now I enjoyed going into the engine house. Now you're going to see, well, engine house I call it, but the only reason I call it that was because there's a fucking engine in it. This whole Lister Petters engine, and yeah, so this is what was banging away, powering the place at one stage. It goes back as far as 1909, the building. So I don't know when that was put in. Some of you might know with the serial there. But I found these fuses as well when I was going there. I thought I'd make a video of it. I thought it was really interesting. Really old-fashioned gear in this place. Old lighthouse. So, we rambled around here. Had a look at everything. This was the glass, I think, maybe from the original lamp or light or whatever. And I also learned a few different facts while I was in here as well. This was actually a fog lighthouse. So there's a lot of fog in this area in the later year and late year to early into the next year. And each lighthouse station has a different timing for their flash, so you know which station it is if you're a boat that's passing by. I thought that was really fucking interesting and random. As well as that, before they had lighthouses, they used explosions and counted, I think, the sound travel to know how far they were away from land, which was another fact that I thought was really interesting. But there you go, lads. To be honest, we ended up in Crookhaven then, and there was nowhere to have food, and this is where we were going to have for our last night. We ended up going home after this.